Welcome to the deep dive. This is where we sift through different sources to find, well, the surprising nuggets of insight. And today we're diving into something that seems really simple, almost mundane maybe, but it turns out to be incredibly rich. The humble chopstick. Yeah, this whole deep dive kicked off from a Reddit thread over on Too Cool Guides. It was titled How to Use Chopsticks 101. Okay, so let's unpack this a bit. I mean, I first saw that title and thought, all right, a how-to guide, maybe some diagrams, static instructions, that sort of thing. But what we actually found, wow, it was this incredibly vibrant conversation, almost like a tapestry, really, woven from all these personal stories, different cultural takes, and even some like really ingenious adaptations. Did you get that same feeling that it was way more than just the instructions?
Oh, absolutely. Straight away. It was clear pretty quickly that our mission here, it goes way beyond just how you're supposed to hold chopsticks according to some diagram.
Yeah.
We're going to explore the different ways people actually use them.
Yeah.
The struggles, the wins when learning, and also the bigger picture, the cultural context, those clever little fixes people come up with when a whole diverse group starts talking about a common tool like this. The goal, really, for you listening, is to get that knowledge quickly, but properly. Get those aha moments without feeling buried in information.
Right, exactly. And that whole idea of a 101 guide, that kind of brings us straight to the first big tension we saw, which is this idea of the proper way versus, well, the personal way. When you hear how to use chopsticks 101, you immediately picture one specific way, don't you? The correct way. Most of us probably have that mental image, the textbook hold.
Yeah, it's kind of compelling, isn't it? How fast a theoretical guide like that just bumps up against the reality of what feels comfortable or what actually works for someone. The diagram shows one thing, sure, but people's hands, their dexterity, even just simple preference, it varies so much.
Oh, totally. And the Reddit comments just lit that up immediately, that divergence. What really jumped out was how quickly people said, yeah, no, I don't do it that way. Like, Model Citizen 64 just flat out says they find it really hard to use chopsticks when holding them the correct way. Prefers a top crossy way. Does that tension surprise you at all? The ideal versus the practical?
Not really, no. It actually makes you wonder, doesn't it? Is there ever truly one single right way when a tool is just part of everyday life? Or do comfort and, just getting the food to your mouth, do those usually win out? We even see someone worried that the crossway is unstable and can slip, which kind of points to the trade-offs people are making, consciously or not.
Yeah, good point. And then there's Sharafius from Hong Kong.
Yeah.
Grew up with chopsticks, can do the proper way.
Right. But admits it doesn't feel as comfortable as the top crossy way.
Exactly. And then someone like Diabeji is just completely lost looking at the crisscrossy method, diagrams or no diagrams.
It just perfectly illustrates it, I think, how cultural practices shift and evolve. Balancing tradition with what's practical, and also just how much individual dexterity plays a role. It's not one size fits all.
That whole discussion about comfort and personal style, it really sets the stage for the next bit, which is how people actually learn this skill. So let's explore that journey, because it's rarely just, step one, step two, done. It's often a bit of a struggle before you get the skill. Okay, so consider Klonkex. Describes themselves as a fully non-Asian, pasty, white Australian dude.
Right.
Took on learning chopsticks while studying Chinese. And get this, they learned using those slippery round metal ones, which everyone says are the hardest.
Wow.
Yeah.
Trial by fire, basically.
Totally. But they shared this really insightful takeaway. They said, it's really not that hard with a bit of practice. The thing I found most useful was to let myself feel the tips of the chopsticks, like they're an extension of my fingers. Oh, and a practical point, too, found the metal ones easily washable.
Yeah, and that extension of my fingers insight. That's not just about chopsticks, is it?
Yeah.
It's like a little window into skill mastery in general. It's that point where the tool just kind of disappears. It becomes intuitive, part of you, like a musician with their instrument, or even learning to type quickly. It's that moment where unconscious competence kicks in. You stop thinking about the tool, you just use it.
And sometimes that mastery gets like the surprising validation. You mentioned not outrageous. They shared this story about using a similar 101 guide, made it a point to practice, whenever they could. Years later, dinner with Chinese in-laws, and one of them tells not outrageous, they use chopsticks better than her own kids.
Huh. That's great.
Right. And okay, maybe a bit of politeness factored in, they acknowledge that, but still, you can imagine that feeling, right? That sense of real accomplishment.
Oh, definitely. What really stands out there for me is it shows the power of just sticking with it, consistent practice, and also that real joy of getting good at something, especially when maybe people who, grew up with it acknowledge your effort.
Yeah.
It's more than just picking up food, isn't it? It's kind
Yeah.
of like respect, dedication,
Yeah.
maybe quietly bridging a little cultural gap.
Yeah, well put. Okay, so beyond the grip and the learning curve, the actual chopsticks themselves show incredible variety. Barfly 2780 nailed this. They said, try using the Korean metal chopsticks. They'll make you want to stab somebody with them.
Uh-huh. I've heard similar sentiments. They can be tricky.
But then they quickly add, the ones in Japan are great, though.
And that's a perfect example. The material, the design, it makes a huge difference to the experience. Korean metal ones,
Yeah.
often flatter, shorter. Yeah, they can be slippery if you're not used to them. Definitely a challenge. Japanese ones, often wood or bamboo, maybe more pointed tips.
Yeah.
It's just a very different feel, often more forgiving, maybe.
Yeah.
It's not just looks.
Yeah.
It's about function, how it feels in your hand.
Exactly. And it's not just the materials changing things, it's the actual methods people use that gets really diverse. We had XVJ Q-Bike sharing that, well, classic story, right? Feeling super proud of learning the proper way.
Uh-huh. Mastering the technique.
Yeah. Only to go to China and see everybody use the scissors method.
Right. The more relaxed, maybe crossed over grip, it's common.
And then there's the whole side discussion about using your fingers. Like, Mediocre Chap just states it's a valid method. And then an Indian commenter jumps in jokingly saying, as an Indian, I disagree when someone else dismisses fingers for certain foods. It's all in good fun, but it shows different norms.
It does.
And let's be honest, the practical stabbing for tricky food items, Alien with a Smile admits to it. We've probably all done it.
Guilty. Sometimes it's just necessary.
Or, the really blunt suggestion from P0Tats07. Or just use a fucking fork, eh?
Well, yeah, that's always an option too. But it really begs the question, doesn't it? How do practical needs, regional customs, just individual preferences, how do they shape how a tool gets used? Sometimes it moves pretty far away from any proper technique prescribed in a guide. The scissors method or the occasional stab clearly driven by function or just making it easier. And using fingers, well, that highlights cultural norms that might exist alongside or even predate chopsticks in some places. It's all very pragmatic, really. Getting the food in your mouth is the goal.
And the ingenuity. It doesn't stop at just different grips. Some adaptations are, frankly, amazing. Like Hoodies, who once ate a salad using skewers like chopsticks.
Skewers, okay, that takes some skill.
Right. And they specifically clarified, no, I did not use the pointy ends to stab the lettuce. Impressive. But maybe the wildest one was a post about 3D printed chopsticks. Get this. They operate with a planetary gear train.
Oh, what now? Like gears?
Yeah. Like interlocking gears. Apparently it allows for this incredibly smooth, precise, almost robotic kind of movement. And they even have an optional finger helper piece to stop your hand cramping.
Wow, okay, that's next level.
Yeah.
That's brilliant, actually.
Those examples just perfectly showcase human ingenuity, don't they? Problem solving right there. From adapting something simple like skewers to designing completely new, high-tech, ergonomic things with 3D printing, people are always finding ways to make tools work better for them, feel more comfortable, or maybe just be more fun to use. It's about personalizing it, making the tool work for you, not the other way around.
So true. Okay, so we hit on grip, learning, materials, ingenuity, but sometimes a simple tool like chopsticks, it takes on this, I don't know, deeper meaning, almost philosophical. Barry123 captured this perfectly. Quoted Mr. Miyagi from Karate Kid.
Ah, the classic. Man who catch fly with chopstick, accomplish anything.
Yeah. It's really compelling, isn't it, how a simple physical skill, when done well, can become this powerful symbol. A metaphor for focus, for discipline, achieving mastery in, well, anything in life, really. And that idea was echoed so simply by Diet Derpsy. Just one word. Focus. It kind of suggests that the precision, the control you need for chopsticks, maybe it cultivates that broader mental sharpness, that patience.
And it's not always super serious either. Sometimes the appreciation comes from just humor and clever observation. There was this shower thoughts nugget somebody shared, which I love. Chopsticks are better than spoons, forks, and knives because if you eat from the wrong end, it still works as a chopstick either way.
That's actually quite insightful in a funny way. It highlights the genius of the design, right? That inherent symmetry and versatility. Most utensils have a definite right and wrong end, business end, handle end. Chopsticks? Not really. It points to that subtle, maybe intuitive engineering in everyday things that we just tend to overlook. It's a good reminder to appreciate that kind of thoughtful simplicity.
Totally agree. So, okay, what does this all mean? Where does this leave us? Our deep dive into that How to Use Chopsticks 101 thread, well, it's shown us that even the simplest guide can spark this incredibly rich, really complex conversation. about culture, about personal skill, adaptation, innovation. I think, a powerful reminder that there's very often more than just one right way to do something, and that, personal comfort, what actually works for you, that's often just as valid as some prescribed method.
Absolutely. We've seen how knowledge isn't just about knowing something, it's about understanding it, applying it, and how thinking critically lets us appreciate all these different perspectives, from the traditional ways to modern tweaks, even the funny takes.
Hmm.
It's really a testament to how dynamic our interaction with tools and culture always is. It's always evolving.
Yeah. So as you go about your day, maybe we can leave you with this final thought to mull over. Think about the other everyday tools or skills you use. Are there proper ways you learned, but that you've kind of adapted over time for comfort or just efficiency? What hidden depths, maybe cultural stories, personal journeys, little sparks of ingenuity might be lying just beneath the surface of those everyday things, just waiting for your own deep dive?